Guys, welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to see how to perform an HTTP methods on an API using the request module in Python. Generally, HTTP methods are something which will help us to perform certain actions on an HTTP resource. The actions are get, post, put, patch and delete. So we have already seen request module in the previous video. So today we have taken a mock API to perform all these actions. So API is something like a waiter in a restaurant. So let's say we are the client. We are requesting for an order, and the waiter will take the particular order from the cooking area, which is nothing but the server. So similarly, we are the client, and server is where the data is stored and it will handle the request. So API is something like an interface between client and server to perform the request. So this mock API is something which will allow us to perform all these HTTP methods. This is not an actual API. It just help us to do all these actions. So this API has post, comments, albums, photos, to-dos and uses. Let's try to see what it is there in the post. So we have so many posts already been stored, and similarly we have comments, albums, photos, etc. So this is something that already stored. It doesn't allow us to do any dynamic things. So you can use this URL and you can try to mock it in your local environment. So let's try to do one by one all of the HTTP methods. So first thing is we have to import the module, and then I am using the URL. So to see whatever already there, right? So we have to use the get HTTP method is something to fetch the resources. So what you have to do, request dot get of URL. Let's try to print the response. Response is 200. That means it is successful. And if you try to see, right, we have to use response.txt. But here it will be printing in the form of a string. So because if you want to perform the later data processing, you need the data to be in the form of dictionary, right? So that it will be very easy. So let's make it as response.json. So now it will be in the form of a list of key values pairs. So it is very easy. So let's say I want to see what is the first response. Response of 0. Response dot JSON of the first element. I will get only the first post, so that it will be very easy for the data processing. This is the get HTTP method. So let's try to post a request. Post is something you are posting a new data to the API. Let's take the same. You don't want to import again. Now to post it, right, you have to create the data. So the data has to be in the form of JSON, as we already seen, right? So this resource is basically accepting the data in the form of a JSON format. But since this is a mock API, it doesn't have that much options available. In the upcoming videos, let's try to see the APIs with the keys and different data types also. So data and then, so it is already typing. Let's do this. So title, let's take it as new data. Body is test data getting added. User ID, let it be 1. So now to post the data, we have to use request.post followed by the URL, and the JSON is equal to data, whatever the data we are providing, and we are trying to see if it is posted or not. Yes, it has been posted, and it is printing out the response.json. So we can see it is whatever the data we added is getting printed. So this is how we will post. Let's say I want to see a particular post, right? Here we have received all the post, but I want to see only the first post. How we can do that is, sorry, this one, let's close it. Post followed by 1. So 1 2 or whatever the id it is supporting, right? So that one. So let's try to print all the JSON. Now we can see it is printing the first post. So the first post is nothing but sent out. I think something this is in French, so that is fine. Yeah, first post is same sent out, the same post is getting printed out there. So you might be getting the doubt like whatever the posted data is reflected in the actual API or not. Here it won't get reflected since it is just a mock API to perform all these things in the local environment. But we'll try in the real API also. So this is how the post works. Now let's say whatever the data I have posted, I have to modify. So modify comes in two forms, which is put versus patch. So put is something, whatever the data you are providing, right, it will be get modified completely. So let's say I'm putting new data in one first post. Whatever the data you are providing, it will be modified entirely. But in patch, whatever the keys providing, that keys only be modified. The remaining things will be as it is. So let's try it out. Let's take this only. And what I am doing is I'm going to put it new data modification this data getting modified. Sorry, it has to be all in the small format. Let's see the response. Okay, I think okay, we have to provide the post ID also. Yeah, now it has been, because previously we are trying to modify the entire post. So now the first post I have to modify with this. I'll try to print the JSON also. So if you can see, the data has been modified with whatever the data we have provided. Let's say I'm giving only the two key values. So we might be in assumption that only these two keys would have modified, right? No, it will delete the entire resource and it will modify it. So let's try to print it. Now you can see the difference, right? Even though body was there previously, deleted entirely, and it will creating the new resource with our data. The different but the patch is something different, so it will modify only whatever we want. So 1 second, yeah, so this is not needed, let's remove it. Now we have added the body also. Now I am going to do a patch, and I don't want to disturb this body part. I am going to disturb only the user ID. Title also let it be same. Now only the user ID we would have modified. Yeah, so if you can see, only the user ID is being modified. So don't confuse with this thing, because it will take the actual whatever the data is, it's been in the API, right? It will take it, because since it's a mock API, right? So now we can see in the first post only the user ID has been changed to whatever we want. We can try one more time also. Yeah, only it will modify this key, it will leave the other keys as it is. So that is the speciality of patch, but put will modify the entire thing. So now if I want to delete, right, the first post completely, we don't want the data, data is not needed here, just change it to delete. Yeah, it has been emptied. So these are the different HTTP methods that can be used on an API. So in this video we have performed on a mock API. We'll try to cover more APIs in the upcoming videos. So hope you have a good learning in this video. Please do like, share and subscribe. Thank you.